Hello! We are the Geeks and Degenerates. I am Enzo and this is my forever co-host John. And as you see in the thumbnail and title of the video, we are doing Guardians of the Galaxy. The first one.
Yes.
And to be honest, I want to ask, what were your first impressions? Like, did you see the first trailer where you're like, what the hell is this?
You know what? I don't remember any first trailers or how I got into this. I just remember the people just trying their goddamn best to act cool when they heard the Guardians of the Galaxy come out. I was like, I remember reading the comics for this one. Yeah. Oh my god. Like, I know all the characters. I was like, none of y'all ever heard of the Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, I don't know who the Guardians of the Galaxy were when they came out. I'm like when you see comics of it, I was like, there's a Native American in their team? Like, you're just like, what is this lineup? Like, nobody knew the Guardians of the Galaxy was until J.J. Abrams? James Gunn came into the scene and just like, alright, let's play around with this thing.
Yeah.
But I just love seeing everybody just trying their best to be like, yeah, I read it.
Right? Oh, and
Yeah.
you don't know Star-Lord? How could you? Like, neither do you.
Yeah, neither do you. So shut up.
Yeah.
No, but like, all I remember is just hearing the theme of it, and everybody's like, "Oh shit, we could have a whole." I think they were the ones who were like, "Let's make every song in this soundtrack just like classics."
A killer
like,
soundtrack. This is the definition of like a killer soundtrack.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit, I have everything from this movie. Like, ever since 2014, I've carried it over to like Spotify. That's how much I like the soundtrack. But with regards to like the trailer, I saw the first trailer and I was like, what the hell is this? Who?
Yeah. Yeah, and then you see that guy from 30 Rock who's like, wait, 30 Rock? Oh, sorry, Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my god, he's jacked.
Yeah.
like that's the thing that gets us the most is that fat guy from Parks and Recreation. I was like, oh fuck,
Yeah, but
there's hope for us.
he wasn't the selling point for me. The selling point was Batista, because like it was a quick glimpse. I was like, is that Batista from WWE? And like Marvel confirmed it. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, shit, it's Batista, Parks and Rec's guy, the girl from Avatar, guy from Hangover, wolves, the girl from Doctor Who, and then of course Fast and Furious guy as a talking tree. You're like, what?
Vin Diesel.
Like,
I keep forgetting Vin Diesel's part of the MC.
Yeah. And like this guy came out in 2014, and 2014 was a killer year for comic book movies because we had Winter Soldier, and then in between this and Winter Soldier we had Days of Future Past, and then we had Guardians. Like the only weak link was Amazing Spider-Man 2, but like that's just one out of like 4 movies that were all like killers. Like Days of Future Past, Guardians 1, and Winter Soldier were like, oh shit, comic book movies are fucking dope.
Yeah. Like I think this is where comic book movies start to peak, where we're like, if an actor or an actress got into a Marvel movie or a superhero movie, boom, that will skyrocket their career.
Yeah, and like everybody benefited from it from this point onwards. Like Elizabeth Olsen, the late great Chadwick Boseman, Benedict Cumberbatch, and like it just kept peaking. Tom Holland, Zendaya, whoever. And like say what you will about it now, but like that whole until Endgame, you're like, oh shit, comic book movies are on a ride, and it's thanks to the MCU that they're on this like zzzz.
Yeah, I agree.
It was a glorious time. But yeah, like we do meet the first of our very quirky bunch in this planet where Star-Lord is singing, he's just dancing. Like every time I see this movie, I just expect War Machine to just go bang.
I forgot about that.
It's like, he's an idiot. Like, yes, he's an idiot.
Yes. If you try to pinpoint the moment that War Machine just knocks Peter Quill out. But no, don't we like start off with a flashback?
Oh yeah, we start off with on Earth with Peter Quill and his mom dying of cancer, and you're like, until this moment, you're like, I thought the MCU was all light and funny. Well, what's this?
Cancer.
Yeah, it's a heartfelt scene. You're like, oh man, did I enter the right movie? It says Marvel.
I mean, hey, this is what happens when you fuck
A god.
a god.
And he purposely puts the cancer in you. You're like, oh no. You forgot about that, didn't you? Yeah. And then his mom's like, take my hand, Peter, and he hesitates, and then she dies, and then he's taken outside where he's abducted by the Ravagers, and then that's when we get the singing part. You're like, when does War Machine come again? But no, he steals this orb, and he's arrested by Jaimon Honsu's character, and he's like, we're taking you to Ronan the Accuser. I was like, wait, you know me by another name. Star-Lord. Who? I'm Star-Lord, man.
I love Jaimon Honsu. It's just, I hate his roles. Like, put him in something good, please. Like, make him the main character at least. This guy's a good actor, fuck's sake.
I mean, he's Shazam. OG Shazam. For like, how many minutes? Like 15 minutes of that movie?
No, not even. That's very courteous.
But yeah, he escapes the Ravagers and then flies off in the Milano. You're like, I like these names. I like the 80s vibe. I love the soundtrack. And then he gets a call from Yondu, who's played by Michael Rooker, and he's like, boy, you better bring that back. It's like, nah, I'm taking it to someone safe. It's like, you ungrateful son of a bitch. You don't know, when we first discovered you, I stopped them from eating you. And he's like, thanks, Dad. Gotta go. And then we meet Ronan the Accuser, and his introduction is pretty cool. He's like against the peace treaty of Xandar and the Kree, and he's like, it will not stand. I don't care about your peace treaty. I will bring justice to Xandar by my own hand if I have to. And he executes this guy in the most gnarliest of ways. And you see by his side is Gamora and Nebula. Gamora played by Zoe Saldana, and Nebula played by Karen Gillan. And then he's like, oh, someone already got the orb, so I'm going to send Gamora after him. Then we meet, on the Xandar, we meet Rocket and Groot, who are again played by Bradley Cooper and Vin Diesel. And like, I love how Vin Diesel is just here to be like, I am Groot. That's about
the
it.
whole fucking time.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, like I love the world that they introduced in Guardians, though, or like the universe where we get to see metropolitan cities in alien worlds, or see the underbellies inside of a gigantic skull. I was like, that shit's sick, though. Like,
yeah.
I love seeing this, and I wish we explored it more. All throughout, like probably in a series, which is what I think they're gonna be doing.
Oh, you think they're gonna do a series from here on out?
Maybe, but mostly we might be seeing that with like Loki.
Okay. But yeah, Peter Quill takes the orb to this dealer. And it's like, oh, Ronan's after this. That's why I'm giving it to you. And the guy's like, I want nothing to do with Ronan. Good day, sir. You go on your way. And he's spotted by Gamora, and she's like, oh, you have my orb. I'm gonna take that and kick your ass. And they have this amazing small skirmish between Gamora, Star-Lord, Rocket, and Groot, where poor Gamora's tased by Star-Lord, and then Groot captures her. Rocket's like, no, not her, you idiot. The guy.
He was so gentle about it, too.
Yeah. And then, like, Rocket is, like, tracking Star-Lord. It's like, I live for the small things. Like, how much this is gonna hurt. And poor Star-Lord's just, like, quivering in pain. You're like, you little sadist. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Rocket is probably my favorite character from this group.
Again, of all the actors in the world, I never expected to be in a comic book movie, let alone a talking raccoon, is fucking Bradley Cooper. Because you're like, oh, he's the Hangover guy. He's in other stuff. He's the Yes Man guy. I didn't know he could do shit like this. Yeah, he's in Yes Man for like a small bit. You don't remember? I think he's like Zoe Deschanel's brother?
Okay.
Yeah.
I gotta rewatch Yes Man.
Or like he's the best friend of Jim Carrey in Yes Man. Uh, and then they're arrested by the Nova Corps, and you see, oh shit, it's John C. Reilly from Step Brothers. And, and his boss is Glenn Close. Like, oh shit, it's the OG Cruella de Vil before Emma Stone. Nice.
Yeah. We get that famous scene that everybody started copying. The
Oh, I didn't know how this machine worked. That was improv by Chris Pratt.
Really good, really good. But then when everybody else started doing it, I was like, man, you made it uncool.
Yeah. Oh, the guy who was like, what a bunch of a-holes. That's the voice of Darth Maul in Phantom Menace. We will have our revenge. We will reveal ourselves to the Jedi. Sir Peter Fenowitz. I'm not talking
the guy
about...
from John Wick?
Yeah. He's the original voice of Darth Maul, not before Sam Witwer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god, what? Why didn't they keep him? He's such a great voice, but okay.
Yeah, and then they're taken to this cube prison. And then Star-Lord's like, I can't believe I'm here with a talking raccoon, and Rocket's like, what's a raccoon?
I was like, right. I keep forgetting.
And then the guy has Peter Quill's tape, and he's like, how dare you, give that back, and he just tases poor Star-Lord. And this is the scene where we're like, oh shit, the guy from Parks and Rec is fucking jacked.
Yeah. Or they spray him down with this like orange shit. I'm like, ooh, this one's for the ladies and maybe guys.
Yeah.
But like, I was like, damn.
Yeah.
I mean, now I'm thinking, can we get to that point? You and me.
Probably one of these days. Who knows? Don't give up hope, homie.
Will you join me in this journey so we'd have it on record that everybody can see? We will look like Chris Pratt, just not with his ideals.
Yes. Like and we know people have... Yeah, we know people have problems with Chris Pratt, but for this video we're talking about his performance and the character of Star-Lord and not his views. So yeah, again,
it's kind of like, yeah, Kevin Spacey with Seven.
Yeah.
Talking about Kevin Spacey, we're just talking about his performance.
Yeah, we're talking about John Doe, and here we're talking about Star-Lord. I like how in the prison everybody wants to kill Gamora because they know, we're like, oh, that's the daughter of Thanos, the bastard who killed hundreds of planets. Like, I love how they start building up Thanos as this credible threat, because before this he was just like, oh, he's the smiling guy from the Avengers. Cool.
If anybody didn't know who Thanos was, yes, he's just that smiling guy from the Avengers.
Yeah.
That's me. Like, I'm like, the fuck's the purple guy? I knew nothing about him.
You also get like a brief cameo from Nathan Fillion when he's like, oh, fresh meat, and then Groot just shoves his fingers up his nose and he's just crying like, I'm sorry.
Nathan Fillion?
Yeah.
Oh shit, okay.
And then Groot's like, this is our bounty. If you want him, you have to go through us. Or more precisely, we go through you. I'm like, I fucking love Rocket Raccoon.
Yeah, same here.
And like,
or just Rocket, because he doesn't know he's a raccoon.
Oh yeah, just Rocket. And then like as Gamora's being locked up, you see this one guy just eyeballing her like, that's Batista. And that night they take her out to essentially execute her. And he's like, her life doesn't belong to you. It's not yours to take. And you see Drax, this imposing dude. You're like, yeah, you're exactly how I remember you from WWE. Just imposing.
No, but like, I do love it that Drax is the type to take everything literally.
Yeah. It's like, wait, she can bring Ronan to you, and then you can... Like, why would I put my finger across his neck?
Why would I want to put my finger across his neck? I was like, no, it is a sign to kill him. Everybody knows this, right? You right? That's
my only small gripe is that Batista's a bit stiff here. You're like, you have a ways to go. Come on.
Yeah, no, that's the role.
Yeah.
Like, he is supposed to be this very uptight, stoic, until we get to like the middle part where he starts laughing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And then we go back to Ronan's ship where the guy from Avengers is like, like bitching towards him, and then Ronan's bitching back. He's like, "Your sources tell us that Gomar meant to betray us the whole time." Like, "Oh, fine, fuck you. Guess what? Thanos summons you right now." And then you see the plan, and Ronan again is just bitching. He's like, "How could you not tell us about Gomar?" And he's like, "Lower your tone. You lower your tone." He just snaps the guy's neck. He's like, "I guess that's the end of that guy." It's like, "I only ask that you take this matter seriously." And then Thanos just turns around and is like, "The only matter I do not take seriously, boy, is you. You're like a child and your politics bore me. You alienated my favorite daughter." And then Ronan's just like, "I'm sorry."
What got me was favorite daughter. I was like, wow.
Yeah, and then Nebula's like, "Thanks, Dad.
Llama.
I will honor our agreement, Kree, if you bring me the orb. But return to me again empty-handed, and I will bathe the Star Wars in your blood." You're like, oh. For our first impression, that's like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's not just one dude smiling. Now it's like, that was a threat.
Yeah, and we're like, I wonder how long it will be until we see you again. And it was like, 4 years.
Yep.
It was worth it though.
Yep.
I'm glad they fixed the effects too, because you're like, that's definitely James Brolin's face.
Like, okay, yeah, the first Thanos design was just like too purple.
Yeah.
Like, unrealistically purple. Like Green Lantern purple.
Yeah. Like, damn, Thanos has thick eyebrows too. Who knew? And then we go back to the prison where Rocket's talking about the escape. Because Gamar's like, "Oh, I made a deal with the Collector for like 4 billion credits." And they're like, "Hot damn, let's spend that between the 5 of us." They make a plan to escape, and that's Rocket's telling like, "Oh, we should definitely get the battery last." You see Groot just pulling at it. He gives one guy a coma. And you're like, what the hell is Groot doing?
Well, the plan starts now. And I love it as soon as they start like scurrying to go from plan A to plan B.
Yeah.
Rocket's like, "We need to get that guy's arm or leg."
Right.
No, I think it was a leg. And just Peter Quill's just like, "Okay, I'll do whatever I can."
I love how it cuts from Gamora just kicking ass, and the guy's like, "Oh, you'll never get the security ban because it's internal." She's like, "Okay." And you see her
Cuts
crack.
off his arm.
He cut this Star-Lord, and the guy being like, "You want my what?"
Yeah, and like they're trying to get all the shit together so they could be in this like command center that actually can fly.
And then we get one of my favorite scenes where Drax tosses the gun to Rocket as Rocket's trying to help Groot, and he's like, "Oh, yeah." And he just goes nuts. You're like, like this movie has such charm to it. You're like, I kind of miss it. No, I really miss it.
I really do miss it. And I'm gonna miss Bradley Cooper as Rocket Raccoon as soon as the third Guardians of the Galaxy came out.
Batista, once it wraps up too, because that's his last movie as Drax.
For me, for Batista, I feel like I can't wait for you to get out of an MCU movie, because I know that you will like do better, like flourish more in other kind of genres instead of a superhero movie where they require you to be the walking, talking idiot.
That's true. I do like their instant chemistry when they're up in the security panel, and Drax is just like, "I remember eating the flesh of this creature. It was delicious." And Rocket's like, "You're not helping."
You're not helping! It's like trying to fix the shit.
Yeah. Star just being like, "Don't trigger the walking thesaurus." Like, "I am not a thesaurus. Don't ever call me that." And Rocket's like, "Well, his kind, everything flies over his head." Nothing flies
over my head. My reflexes are too fast. I would catch it.
And you go Marge is like, "I am surrounded. I'm gonna die surrounded by the biggest idiots in the galaxy."
She ain't wrong. I love it when Peter Quill's like, "I got the leg." I was like, "Oh no, you can put that aside. I don't really need it."
I had to transfer 30,000 credits. Like, haha.
I love how the Rocket was just laughing like, "You actually fucking did it."
And then once they escape, Peter's like, "Wait, I have to get something," and he retrieves his, what do you call that? Walkman from the guard. Just bounces the orb on him. He kept the orb because he knew they wouldn't leave without it. They're like, fucking bastard. And then he gets back to the ship. Drax is like, companion, you're brave. What did you retrieve? And he just gives him the Walkman. He's like, oh, you're an idiot.
Imbecile.
You're an imbecile.
I was like, oh.
Alright. And then they go to nowhere, which is this head of the Celestial. You're like, holy shit. And it like took me a while to be like, that's a fucking head. I know it's a Celestial. Oh my god.
Yep.
Cool. And it's nicely designed where this is like seedy underbelly Star Wars-ish kind of vibe. Like this
It's a cyberpunk-ish,
yeah.
space adventure-ish kind of, I really like that. I'm a sucker for that kind of shit. Where seedy underbelly sci-fi areas. And I love this area where they have like these very gross looking animals fighting each other. For sure not legal, but yeah.
You do what you do in a mining colony.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Star-Lord tries to make a move on Gamora, but she's like, I'm not falling for it. And she just draws a knife to his shoulder. It's like, what the hell is wrong with you? And then Rocket and Drax start fighting. You see just Drax just going ham on poor Groot. You're like, please, be gentle with the poor tree.
I do love it that they're very dysfunctional, though.
Yeah.
Like, that's not our first time seeing a dysfunctional team, but it's like the one that kind of took it to an extent where, like, they really don't like each other at this moment. Until they need to.
This vermin is dishonest. That is true. He has no integrity. That is also true.
It's also true.
He's like, he called me vermin. Call me that again while I shoot you in the face. Like, whoa, buddy. We're gonna be rich. Please, just get your shit together.
I love that. And they're both drunk. They're ready to kill each other.
Yeah.
I love that shit.
And then they're summoned by the Collector, who's played by Benicio del Toro. I forgot where. Was this his debut in the MCU?
Yes.
Yeah. I think, if you didn't know, he was the brother of Jeff Goldblum's character in the MCU. Yeah, brother or somehow related.
Okay. That makes sense. They're both white-haired.
Yeah.
Like, they have, like, that thing on their lip.
Yeah. And, like, he explains to them the history of Infinity Stones, and you see what one can do. And, like, if you know, you're like, I wonder what happens when you combine all of them and put them in a mitten.
Yep. And then what would happen when a simple show will pretty much dismiss everything about the Infinity Stones within one scene?
Yeah, unlike my paperweight trick. Fucking paperweights.
And like he puts it like in a drawer filled with like other Infinity Stones.
Oh my god, people have characters you love have died for these.
Yeah, exactly. And then now they kind of just dismiss it by just putting it in the celestial drawer. I'm like, okay.
Cool, thanks. And then the help is like, I will no longer be your slave, and just takes the purple Infinity Stone, but she doesn't realize, like, oh, without an Infinity Gauntlet, and if you're not a powerful being, you can't handle an Infinity Stone barehanded.
Yeah. But there's a time where they're like, oh, they actually got tracked by... What do you call it?
No, they didn't get tracked. They got called. They got summoned by Drax. Like,
oh, okay.
Yeah. Though I do love when Gamora's like, we have to give this to the Nova Corps. Rocket's like, you still have that? Why?
Yeah, when they found out it's actually a bomb.
Yeah.
Like it's ready to kill everybody in the room.
It's like, Peter, we have to bring this to the Nova Corps. It's like, yeah. Or we could give it to someone nicer. Will pay us more money. And she's like, you fucking coward. Like, I know I am. And then they're tracked by, Ronan comes because Drax summoned his entire army. At the same time, the Ravagers are there, and they're like, what have you done? Drax is like, yes, I will avenge my family. He's like shit-talking Ronan, and Ronan's just like, okay, cool. You killed my wife and daughters. Like, I don't remember them, but okay. And he summons Nebula to chase Gamora down while he's just dodging Drax. You're like, I don't think Drax guessed that he's out of his league. Poor guy.
Yeah.
And he just chokeslams poor Drax. It's like, I don't remember killing your wife and daughter. I doubt I'll remember killing you. And he just drowns him in this ooze while up above, like, Star-Lord, Gamora, and Rocket Raccoon are having like this bumper spaceship thing where they're just slamming into each other.
Oh yeah, where they hijacked one of the alien ships.
Yeah, or no, they did. They got one of the mining ships because they're industrial strength and they can stand it.
Oh, right.
Yeah, but like Nebula does blow up a Gamora's thing, and then Star-Lord, to Rocket's dismay, decides to go out into space and give her his mask thing. After summoning Yondu's like, alright, these are my coordinates, come and get me. And Rocket just lands back. It's like, they're all captured. This would never have happened if you didn't summon Ronan and his entire fucking army. What's wrong with you? And Drax is like, yes, it's my fault. I am a fool. Yes, because I couldn't. All the anger suffered from losing my wife and daughter. And Rocket's like, oh, boo-hoo. We've all lost everybody. It's not fair to ask us to make other people dead along the way because of your cause.
Yeah, that was an eye-opener, like, quote. Again, Rocket Raccoon's stealing the fucking show from this entire movie. I'm like, fucking shit. Like, the quotes, it's just non-stop.
Yeah. And then Groot's like, no, we have to rescue them in this I am Groot way. And Rocket's like, god damn it. And he starts kicking grass. I'm beating up grass because of you. And up above, Yondu's like, you ungrateful bastard. I stopped them from eating you. He's like, you say that like it's a normal thing for people to eat people. It's not normal.
Yeah, he finally called him out on it. I was like, it's so bullshit. You keep telling me that. It's the equivalent of, like, I carried you for 9 months.
Yeah. Yondu's like a typical toxic Pinoy family member. Like, I get it. But it doesn't give you right treatment. Like, shit.
Right.
Was like, if you kill me, you miss out on the biggest size. He's like, I'm listening. And then he hears him out. But, like, as he's telling his plan, Rocket has a plan of, like, blowing up their ship if they don't give up Star-Lord. They're like, whoa. We're fine. Please don't blow us up. He's like, ah, cool. Alright. And that's where we get the heart-to-heart where he's like, I have a plan. How much of a plan? 11%. Like, that's not a plan. It's barely a concept. And we get a real cool scene when he's like, oh, I know we're all losers. I don't mean it in that way. I mean that we've all lost people. Life takes more than it gives, but now it's telling us, it's giving us something. Giving us a chance to give a shit. They're like, fuck. Like, revisiting this movie, like, I feel like this scene would have been ruined by, like, some untimed joke if it was done now. But like here in 2014, like James Gunn understands like they have to make this serious moment marinate, because at the same time Rocket's like, but you're asking us to die. He's like, yeah, I guess. And Drax, Gamora essentially are like, you know what? I don't mind dying with friends. And like, it was just Rocket being like, alright, I'm standing. We're just a bunch of idiots standing. Cool.
Yeah, with this whole movie is just funny. It's supposed to be lighthearted, not that lighthearted, but like you're not supposed to take it that seriously. And when the director knows when to maybe shut up for a bit and just be like bathed in the serious tone and like, we are giving our lives for something that we like. We're giving our lives, and this is a thing that we don't do often because we're, you know, we're pretty much thieves. We're horrible people. We're criminals. And now we're gonna give it for something better than us, which is out of character.
Yeah.
And then realizing like we have is such a good fucking scene. And if it was made today, it'd have been like, oh, funny punchline here, funny punchline there, and then I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
The scene would have just been ruined, and but as long as they get their funny haha. Yes, I will keep using the word funny haha or the phrase funny haha until it's cemented in our brains that that's a bad thing.
Yeah. And then the plan is to blast a hole in Ronan's ship, and Gamora takes out the power to the door, and then they kill him with the device that Rocket has made. Like, they're all set, and they even call John C. Reilly like, oh, I I am an asshole, but I'm not 100% a dick. He's like, I understand what you mean. And like, it took me a while because this came out in 2014. I was like, what does that mean? What does it mean to not be 100% a dick? And then life showed me. I'm like, I get it.
Yeah, and then John C. Reilly just like sends out the Nova Corps, which is the Nova Corps we did not expect.
Yeah.
Like sure, we didn't know what the Guardians of the Galaxy were, but we knew what a Nova Corps was. It was just this dude who was like in a golden helmet with a star in his head.
Yeah, we had no idea it was a Green Lantern deal.
Yeah, it was a whole fucking well. I feel like Nova Corps should have been a giveaway, but
and then they do battle with Ronan's ship, and then the Nova Corps do join them, and then they make this like cool like net almost with all of their ships.
Yeah, and then I really feel like they stole this from Gundam. Because they're holding a thing back, right? It's like falling out of the sky. It's gonna crash into Xandar or something.
Yeah.
And then they're holding it back, and one of them's like blowing up. They're like, I can't hold it in. Boom! Like, I was like, that's from Char's counterattack. I'm like, what the fuck?
You know what? You just sparked a core memory because that was my fencing partner's complaint. And I was like, oh, really? And then now you bring it back all these years later. I was like, son of a bitch. Core memory unlocked.
Wait, what do you mean? Like, he also equated to Gundam?
Yeah, because he's a big Gundam fan.
Yeah. I was like, wait a minute. How dare you? No, it's all good.
I love it when they crash through the ship and Drax is just laughing his head off. Like, you know what? Everybody has their way of having fun. I guess this is near-death experiences. Alright.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I want to go out. Like, if I'm ever gonna crash an airplane with nobody in it besides me, I'll do it laughing.
And as they're walking, it's like, I'm glad I have friends once again. You, Talking Tree, you are my friend. You, Quill, you are my friend. You crazy bitch, you are my friend. Like, oh, can you just stop?
You crazy bitch.
They're doing, like, the effects when...
No, he called her a whore, I think.
I do love Groot's, like, Firefly thing. We're like, this is pretty to look at. Like, I love these scenes in the movie. We're like, this is visually stunning. And then, Nebula is, like, talking shit to Gamora. It's like, oh, you are a traitor, scumbag. You deserve to die. And she gets shot by Drax. And he's like, nobody talks to my friends that way.
Yeah, friendship.
Yeah. And then Ronan enacts essentially the kamikaze plan where the ships just slam into the city and Rocket has to like deviate all his firepower to helping protect the civilians.
Yeah.
Like, this movie has stakes, which is the fate of an entire planet. And like, there's no moment where like that joke was out of line or that joke was out of place or that's a stupid moment for no reason.
You hear that, Marvel? Watch your old shit again.
Right. And then after Yondu crashes, they're like, oh, tell your men to turn on the Nova Corps, and then you see what his arrow can do. We're like, Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting that Yondu has like this whistling thing that will just like dart around. I was like, that shit's sick.
And then we get to like the main board where Star-Lord and Drax and Groot confront Jaimon Hansu. He's like, Jaimon Hansu is like, Star-Lord, and he's like, finally. And we have a pretty sick action scene where Drax has his wrestling moves. Groot is just this hulking beast, and Star-Lord has his dual pistols. You're like, how can they make a guy with two guns exciting? And that's exactly the answer.
Make him fly around like Iron Man.
Yeah. And Drax just destroys Draymond, who just pulls out his head or parts of his main CPU. We're like, oh my god, that's pretty gnarly.
Yeah, he's actually a robot. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and then they're surrounded by more men, and Groot just goes beast mode, just slams them, stabs them, then slams them against each other. He's just like...
Oh yeah, he makes like a kebab out of them.
Yeah. And then Gamora fights Nebula until there's like a hole and she falls out of the hole. It's like, you know Ronan's crazy. She's like, he's not as crazy as you. And then she falls off, and then with her stomp breaks into a Ravager ship. It's like, fuck off. And the poor guy just goes flying off like, oh, I guess that's the last time we see a fur in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Open the main door and they are finally able to confront Ronan after he kills all of the Nova Corps. You're like, oh shit, the stakes can't be higher. And Peter Quill shoots the gun, but the guy's still standing. You're like, oh shit, now what? Drax tries to stop him, and he's like, I do recall your family's deaths. I enjoyed it. And then Rocket just comes crashing through the main hub. You're like, alright.
Yeah, oh yeah, I forgot. Like, Rocket was at the, like, had to, like, hijack one of the alien ships just to get into Ronan's ship that was crashing down.
Oh no, he used the Milano to kamikaze into Ronan. Essentially.
Peter Quill's ship?
Yeah, that's why the Nova Corps was like, oh, we repaired all of your ship as it was.
Right.
And then we get a very surprising emotional scene where Groot's like covering them from the crashing ship. And Rocket's like, you can't do this, you'll die. And Groot's just like, we are Groot. And you're like, my god, this is just the first movie and you're already pulling all the heartstrings.
Yeah. I know, but I do love when he does says, we are. You would expect something like Friends.
Yeah.
Or like, but he goes with Groot, but you get what he meant. I was like, oh.
We're family.
I wish!
But it's a surprisingly emotional scene for this. Like, for most of the movie, it's pretty lighthearted until you get to like the drama stuff, and you're like, my heart, it can't take it.
Yeah, the way it does crash, Rocket is left with like this little piece of Groot left.
And to the horror of everybody, Ronan's still standing. You're like, how? An entire ship crashed into you.
Yeah.
It's about to obliterate Xandar with the gem. And then Peter Quill starts dancing. He's like, what are you doing? Like, I'm dancing, you idiot. It's like, no, what are you doing? I'm distracting you, you fucking idiot. And you see Rocket just shoot at the sledgehammer thing he has. And then that's where we get the scene of him grabbing the orb and the rest of them grabbing the orb. Like,
no, it wasn't Rocket, it was Batista. He had like that chest thing.
Yeah. And then as Gamora's reaching out, he sees his mom again and he reaches out. And they all start to share the power of the Infinity Stone. And then Ronan's like, who are you guys? Like, oh, you said it yourself, bitch. We're the Guardians of the Galaxy. The skadoosh, Ronan. You're like, you know what? It's one of the most satisfying last acts of any MCU movie.
I agree, but we sadly had a very subpar villain.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I do love... If you're gonna say the dance scene was a funny haha, it was a necessary funny ha.
Yeah.
You know? Like him dancing and being like, what the fuck are you doing? Distracting you. And then they just, like, take out his main weapon. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That does not break character. Well, Peter Quill is witty and funny.
Yeah.
It did not break character, and it was in character for him to do that as a distraction. So it does not count.
Yeah.
As a funny haha moment.
Yeah. Then later on, the Nova Corps is like, oh, we discovered something in your nervous system. That's like you're part human, but something else. You're part something else, and you're like, for years, you were like, what could he be? Could he be the son of the Silver Surfer? Could he be part of Galactus' family? We get our answer with Kurt Russell being Ego the Living Planet.
Yeah.
But for now, we were like, maybe he's the Silver Surfer's son. Maybe he's someone else's son. We don't know. And then that's when we get the ship back together and they're like, oh, we erased your criminal record. And Rocket's like, but what if I want something that someone has and I want it more? They're like, no, that's stealing. That's a crime.
That's so stealing. I love how John C. Reilly is still like trying to teach him basic laws.
Yeah, and Drax is like, what if someone insults me and I rip out his spine? He's like, that's straight up murder. That's also a crime. Also very illegal. Like, okay. And then
at least we have an understanding.
Yeah. And then as they take off, like, once again, Zoe Saldana's in the company of a captain who might be incompetent or not.
We don't know.
Yeah. Like, it's not like he's gonna screw up the entire universe just to smack a Mad Titan around, right? Oh well. But yeah, after this movie, I don't know if you remember 2014 onwards, everybody loved the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Like, Guardians of the Galaxy became a household name.
Yes.
After this movie, and you can see, I would say that it did a really good job.
Yeah.
When it came to like story. Well, I'm going into my scoring now. Anyway,
Yeah.
segues.
Yeah. Before that, like I just missed because after this, like Marvel went to like 7th gear. We were like, what the fuck is this? This is pretty sick. And yeah, Ant-Man and Ultron weren't the best, but then we got like shit like Civil War, Doctor Strange, Black Panther, Infinity War, Endgame.
No, hey, Ant-Man was actually a really good movie. In my opinion, Ant-Man was a really good movie. Once they started tapping into the whole quantum realm, and like it wasn't like a heist movie anymore, that's when I was like, eh.
Yeah, I saw the opening with Hank Pym like getting mad at Howard Stark. I was like, yeah, I remember that Ant-Man was. I really like the first Ant-Man. Like it's not top tier, but like it's pretty good.
It's really good.
Yeah.
I say it's really good. I liked it a lot.
I'll just revisit it sometime to like readjust my thoughts on it. But yeah, for the first Guardians of the Galaxy, what would you rate it?
There's probably the only few Marvel movies that was like, ah, shit. I don't really have any gripes besides the villain. On this one, like it was such a good time, and I get it that they have that kind of villain for this kind of movie since it is an introduction to said character. So, okay, I'll give it a pass on that. So I'm giving this one. Oh, this is hard. It's either a 9 or an 8.5. Because I want to give it a 9 so bad, but I don't know. Ronan was just so eh. So I guess I'm going to give it an 8.5. It's still a really good movie. It's such a good time. And that's a good score.
Alright.
So yeah.
I will go a step beyond. I'll give it a 9 because Ronan is like literally the only thing I would deduct points from. Like everything else, from the effects to the story to how Marvel used to handle balance, humor and comedy. Comedy and drama. It's like it seems like a lost art at this point. And like I miss the days when the only complaint about the Marvel movie was the villain was alright. And now it's like everything else. The villain was pretty good. Everything else is eh.
Yeah. They did a full 180 on it. It was just like, oh, our villains are crap. We have to make it better, making the plot worse.
Yeah.
Or the story horrible.
Like you found the right balance with Infinity War and Black Panther, and even Black Panther 2. So I don't know where you got wrong, but I hope you correct your steps soon, because one day soon we are going to be reaching Doctor Doom, and I would hate to be like, oh, you know what I write about Fantastic Four? Doctor Doom. How about everybody else? Everybody else was forgettable.
Yeah.
What a crappy movie that would be. Yeah.
I can't wait for Doctor Doom, though.
Yeah.
He's probably my favorite villain in the Marvel Universe, because he's the one I grew up the most with.
Yeah, I think mine would be... I was about to say Magneto, but I was like, can you call him a villain though? Not really.
Anti-hero.
Yeah, but yeah. 9 out of 10 for Guardians, and like almost 10 out of 10 just because of the soundtrack. Because again, I've been carrying that soundtrack since 2014. I like 2017 is pretty good too, but like 2014 is like immortalized in my brain forever. Every time I hear Hooked on a Feeling, I'm like, ah, shit. I remember watching the first trailer of Guardians of the Galaxy again. I'm transported back into 2014 when times were not simple, less COVID, less bullshit.
We're adulting now.
Yeah.
Oh my god, wait. That movie's been it's 9 years old.
Yeah.
Now that you think about it.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
But yeah, 9 out of 10 and then 8.5, right? As you can tell, we really like this first movie. It really made a big impression on us, and all of our classmates, because that's for like 9 months straight. They're like, remember this scene in Guardians? You're like, it's been 10 months. Stop.
Oh yeah, it was non-stop with when it was in our high school. Like
Yeah.
everybody, you would hear "Hooked on a Feeling" on every iPod. You're just like, oh god, I can't escape it.
Well, yeah, that's been our video for the first Guardians of the Galaxy. Which one do you like more? Guardians 1 or Guardians 2? Please comment down below. Be cool about it. If you want to see more of us here, please like, subscribe, and ding the bell icon to get notified of when we upload next. If you want to see us out of YouTube, we are also on Spotify and TikTok. Spotify to hear us on the go. TikTok to see our best and funniest moments. You can find me individually at Gandalfus1995 on Twitter. How about you?
Well, you can find me at JOM on Instagram. It is my article.
And on the next movie, we'll be talking about something that shaped our lives, kind of. Or at least our taste in music, because of the artist involved.
Eh?
Huh?
Ah!
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Yes,
You'll just.
We'll just see you on the next one. Bye, everybody.
Ciao.